10th of Esfand 1404 March 1, 2026, one day after the start of the Third Imposed War, a brief news report is announced about Iran's attacks on the aggressors. American terrorist bases in the Persian Gulf countries were bombed by Army fighter jets. No details are released. The Air Force operation on that day is classified as top secret. But 54 days later, the American network NBC, in an unprecedented admission, reports on the heavy damage caused by an Iranian F-5 fighter jet attack on Camp Buehring, also known as the Al-Dhaidri base, in Kuwait.
We carried out this operation while knowing full well that, with the American air defense systems in place, the AWACS that was flying, and their fighter jets that were bombing the surroundings of our country, our return was nearly impossible. But we were in a hurry to carry out this operation.
Today, an opportunity arose for me to have a conversation with the pilots of this unprecedented operation.
Because the moment they attacked our country, our leader stated that they mercilessly martyred innocent schoolgirls and the light-winged angels of Menab. Their message was that they would target everyone, old and young, if we did not surrender.
On the morning of the 10th of Esfand, 1404, the final coordination between the three pilots of this operation was completed. And the operation began with the takeoff of two F-5 fighter jets, one two-seater and one single-seater, from a base in the south of the country.
The plan was to fly at an extremely low altitude, bypassing the enemy's air defenses, including the Patriot systems in Kuwait, Buehring Island, around Ali al-Salem base, and Camp B. We knew the weaknesses of their defense systems. We were aware of their radar blind spots, and had practiced them many times before.
The two fighters, flying at very low altitude, entered Kuwait through the southern waters of the country and, due to the type of ordnance, flew directly over the targets before releasing the bombs. Simultaneously, three American F-15 fighter jets that were en route to Iran for bombing missions were mistakenly targeted by American air defense systems as Iranian fighters.
One hit! Ejecting!
And our F-5 South, thanks to the skill of the pilots in this operation, managed to exit their engagement zone. The most important image that remained in your mind after the operation from that camp. Did you see what happened and what befell that camp?
The bombs we used in this operation had a very high explosive yield and destructive power. When our fighters turned right at the moment of exiting the area, the explosion and the fire I saw behind me were completely different from what we had seen in our drills. Since this camp was a depot for a massive amount of defense weapons and equipment for attacking our country, the explosion of their ammunition added to the volume of our fire, and it became a very lasting scene in my mind. In the final moment, I saw the entire camp engulfed in flames.
Minutes after the complete exit of our fighters from the danger zone, they landed at one of the airports in the south of the country. Reactions from within both the United States and Iran to this operation were remarkable. For example, Adam Kinzinger, himself a veteran U.S. fighter pilot and a 12-year member of the U.S. Congress, said,
"Since the Vietnam War, this is the first time an enemy aircraft has bombed a U.S. position. How did they fail to stop it and not intercept us? No mechanical support was able to penetrate U.S. air defenses. It is clear that the government has covered this up. America is being run by incompetent clowns."
The U.S. President's advisor and Trump's Secretary of War in the U.S. Congress, after severe criticism from representatives, have no answer for this failure.
It's not always the equipment that makes the difference. The determination and resolve to defend the country is a very important factor. And God has shown this to us clearly.
In the Third Imposed War, the Air Force of the Army carried out various operations against the Zionist American enemy positions, which will be made public in the near future.